You ever read a food label and think, okay, this must be pretty safe? Low fat, whole grain, whatever healthy buzzword they threw on? You're not alone. But promise me, you'll hang with me all the way through. Because by the end, you'll see just how often healthy is just packaging and marketing, and you'll know what to look for. Also, if you like getting behind the curtain on what food companies don't tell you, hit subscribe to Undercover Spoon now, because this is the kind of truth you deserve. Start with something we all assume is innocent. Salad dressing. Light. Low fat. Fat-free. They all sound like bonuses, right? But here's where it gets slippery. When manufacturers strip out fat, they don't leave an empty void, they fill it. Sweeteners, sugar, sometimes more salt or artificial stuff to make it taste like something. One study pointed out that dressings advertised as fat-free may contain higher amounts of added sugar than full-fat versions. For example, Ken's fat-free sun-dried tomato. Dressing lists 13 grams of sugar per serving. That's about a third of the daily added sugar limit many experts say, just for a couple of tablespoons. Then there's sodium. A 2-tablespoon serving of many dressings lands you 200 to 400 milligrams of sodium. That may sound moderate, until you realize how much dressing many people splash on a salad. So that healthy salad could be working against you, spiking blood sugar, adding more calories than expected, messing with energy levels. Especially risky if you're watching heart health or managing diabetes. Next, the canned soup aisle. Warm, comforting, feels like safe food. But the sodium numbers are wild. On average, a single cup of canned soup can carry 700 to 800 milligrams of sodium. Most cans are sized for 2 or more servings, so if you eat the whole thing, you've already taken in well over 1,400 to 1,600 milligrams. That's more than half or close to a whole day's limit, just in one meal. Even reduced sodium soups aren't always as low as you think. Some still land in the 1,200 to 1,400 milligrams range per can. And when you're not paying attention, that adds up day after day. Blood pressure climbs, risk of heart disease creeps in. There are better varieties, soups labeled light sodium or no added salt, or ones with 300 to 600 milligrams sodium per serving, especially if you only eat part of the can. Let's move on to another category we trust. Granola bars. We see oats, seeds, maybe fruit, looks wholesome. But many of those bars are built almost like candy bars, high in syrups, added sugars, refined carbs. They're engineered to taste satisfying but not necessarily nourish. Marketing will shout whole grain, natural, gluten-free, all good, but often the whole grain is minimal, token. You might be getting one oat and a whole lot of filler. And what about juice? That bright glass of orange juice feels fresh, simple. But the reality? Many bottled juices are stripped of fiber, then processed, then sometimes added sugar, so they replicate sweetness and flavor, not fruit as nature intended. Without fiber, sugar gets absorbed fast. So swapping soda for juice might seem smart, but in many cases, it's swapping one sugar bomb for another. I'm building towards something, and I'll give more shocking details later. If you're getting value from this, make sure to subscribe to Undercover Spoon so you don't miss what comes next. Because I'll be pulling back the curtain on more healthy hoaxes. Here's some other traps where healthy is often mostly cosmetic. Veggie chips. The bag looks vibrant, shows carrot or beet slices, sounds good. But often those chips are built with potato or tapioca starch, mainly oil and salt, with a few vegetable powders thrown in. Many have less than 10% actual veggies, so you get crunch and color, but also a ton of processed carbs, fat, and sodium. And because you think you're being good, it's easy to overeat. Flavored yogurts. That fruit on the bottom, key lime pie or cheesecake-style yogurt, might have as much sugar as a frosted donut. Vanillas and honeys aren't immune. Some have over 20 grams of added sugar in one small container. That's several teaspoons of sugar, stealthily ingested. And that sugar can feed inflammation, upset weight control, and mess with energy levels, even gut health, ironically. Whole wheat bread, classic one people use as a go-to for health. But if the first ingredient is enriched flour, it's not really whole grain. Soft, fluffy loaves often rely on enriched flour with a little whole grain mixed in or just sprinkled on top, marketing honesty, but a weak dose. True whole grain bread tends to be denser, richer, visible grains. Trail mixes, nuts, and seeds are great, but add sweet dried fruit, yogurt coatings, chocolate bits, salted nuts, and calories and sugar explode. A handful or two can sneak 300 to 500 calories, plus sugar and salt you didn't expect. Gluten-free snacks. Many don't contain gluten, that's true, but gluten-free doesn't mean nutrient-rich. Often refined starches, lots of oil, sugar to make up for texture and flavor. So you drop gluten, okay, but you might also pack in junk you weren't fully aware of. I'll share one more big one before the next section. Smoothies, especially the store-bought bottled kind, often hide sugar behind fruit purees or juice, with a token green or immune boost tag. Without whole fiber structure, sugar content can rival sodas. Then there are plant-based meats. They seem forward-thinking, eco-friendly, healthy, but texture, flavor? To get those, many brands use processed oils, gums, fillers, and sometimes sodium or saturated fats that rival or beat lean beef. Not always bad, but you need to know what you're trading off. After all of this, it's not about fear, it's about awareness. Because once you start flipping the label, reading ingredient lists, comparing actual sugar, sodium, fiber content, you stop being an easy target. You become someone companies have to trick with better truth. So hang tight. In the next part, I'll show you how to spot the red flags in under 10 seconds, what to avoid completely, and what to keep that still serves you. If you've stuck this far, you're already ahead of a lot of people. You deserve to watch what comes next. Let's get into the stuff they really don't want you to connect the dots on, because once you do, you can't unsee it. Energy bars. The name alone is slick branding. Meal replacement. Fuel. Performance. Sounds like what an athlete would eat, right? But most commercial bars are loaded with added sugar, cheap protein isolates, soy crisps, and processed oils. They're more about convenience and shelf life than actual nutrition. And here's the real twist. That burst of energy you feel? It's a blood sugar spike. What comes next? The crash, then cravings, then fatigue. Some energy bars have more than 20 grams of sugar, which rivals a candy bar. And let's talk about protein. Not all protein is created equal. A lot of bars use isolates from soy or rice, heavily refined and stripped of most other nutrients. They check the protein box, but they don't nourish like whole food sources do. So for people, especially older adults, trying to just grab something quick, this turns into a daily trap. You're eating what feels like a controlled meal, but it's sneakily working against your metabolism, insulin sensitivity, and hunger cues. Same goes for bottled smoothies. A green label with the word kale doesn't mean it's healthy. Many of these drinks are mostly apple juice or banana puree, with just a sprinkle of greens to make it pass marketing. Naked's Green Machine? Looks virtuous, right? Still has 53 grams of sugar in one bottle. That's more than a full-size soda. Yes, it has vitamins, but you're trading fiber and slow-release energy for a sugar surge your body doesn't need, especially without the act of chewing, which plays a real role in digestion and satiety. And here's something nobody talks about. Older adults often struggle with appetite or digestion. So when they lean on liquid nutrition, they're doing it to keep things simple. But these smoothie-style traps are often the worst culprits for blood sugar instability and low nutrient density. Now here's a curveball. Plant-based meats. Sounds progressive. No cholesterol, no animal cruelty, better for the planet. Yes, on paper. But many of these products are highly engineered. To mimic real meat texture, companies pump them full of methylcellulose, soy protein concentrate, canola oil, potato starch, and other synthetic ingredients. One Impossible Burger contains 370 milligrams of sodium, 8 grams of saturated fat, and more than 20 ingredients, some of which wouldn't be out of place in a chemistry set. So yes, it's not red meat. But if your goal is health, it might be a sideways move, not a step forward. Let's remember this pattern. The more a product tries to sound healthy on the front, the more you should flip it around and read what's really inside. That's the rule. Now, if you're thinking, so what can I eat? Good news is, I'm not here to scare you into a corner. I'm here to unmask the frauds so you can spot the winners without the marketing lies. Let's flip the script. What if you start looking for simple ingredients you recognize, unsweetened versions of things, then you control what gets added. High-fiber foods that don't need flashy packaging. Single-source snacks like raw nuts, seeds, or even frozen berries. Even yogurt? Plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. Add your own fruit. Salad dressing? Olive oil, lemon juice, maybe a touch of mustard. Bread? Look for 100% whole grain as the first ingredient, and aim for 3 grams plus fiber per slice. Here's another big tip. If the front of the label is yelling low fat, no sugar, whole grain, immune support, gluten-free, or heart healthy, take a deep breath. Turn the package over. Look at serving size, always. Grams of sugar, anything over 8 to 10 grams in a snack-sized food? Red flag, sodium. You want to stay under 400 to 600 milligrams per meal if you're being careful. Ingredients list. Shorter is better. If the first few items are sugar, syrup, starch, oil, skip it. And here's a trick. Companies love hiding sugar under sneaky names. Watch for corn syrup, brown rice syrup, evaporated cane juice, fruit juice, concentrate. Anything ending in O's. It all adds up. Don't feel bad if you've been eating this stuff for years. You're not alone. Food companies count on us being busy, tired, and trusting the packaging. But now, you're armed. And there's one more reason this matters. It's not just about weight or calories. It's about inflammation, blood pressure, insulin resistance, and long-term brain health. Sugar spikes and ultra-processed foods have been linked in studies to higher risk of Alzheimer's, heart disease, and even depression. They're not just filling you up, they're slowly reshaping your health, and not in the way you think. In the final section, I'll give you the hidden swaps, the ones food companies really don't want you to know, so you can keep your favorites but upgrade them without sacrificing flavor. These are the secret weapons every smart shopper needs. Trust me, once you see the swap list, you'll never shop the same again. So now that we've ripped the mask off the so-called healthy foods, where do you go from here? Let's start with swaps that taste good, still feel convenient, and most importantly, don't sabotage your health goals. These are the quiet replacements the wellness crowd uses behind the scenes, while the average shopper's still stuck in the marketing maze. Instead of flavored yogurt, reach for plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt and add your own toppings. Sliced berries, cinnamon, even a drizzle of raw honey on your terms. You cut the sugar by half or more. Bonus, Greek yogurt packs more protein and fewer additives than flavored options. Ditch the granola bar. Try a small handful of raw almonds or walnuts with a few pieces of dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao. You still get crunch, energy, and a little indulgence, but no blood sugar roller coaster or mystery syrup blend. Skip the bottled smoothie. Make one at home. Frozen spinach, half a banana, a scoop of nut butter, maybe chia seeds or oats. Real fiber, real fullness, no fake green powder fluff. Replace veggie chips. Go for air-popped popcorn with olive oil and sea salt, or roasted chickpeas. You still get crunch and salt, but with actual fiber and plant protein instead of starch filler. Whole wheat bread faker? Drop it. Look for sprouted grain breads, brands like Ezekiel or Silver Hills. If the bread feels dense, has visible seeds, and lists sprouted whole grains first, that's the real deal. Bonus, sprouted grains have higher nutrient availability and may be easier to digest. Energy bar substitute. Try a boiled egg with a piece of fruit, or hummus and raw veggies. Real food, real fuel, no sugar cliff dive after. Instead of sugary salad dressing, do it yourself. Olive oil, balsamic vinegar, mustard, herbs. Shake it in a jar. Tastes better, costs less, no corn syrup involved. Canned soup overload? Try boxed soups with no salt added, or make a simple one at home in bulk and freeze portions. Lentils, beans, frozen spinach, broth, herbs. Throw it in a pot. You'll save yourself a sodium bomb and get actual fiber and protein. Now remember this pattern. If a food is ultra-convenient, shelf-stable, and has a health claim plastered across the front, it's probably hiding something. There's a reason the healthiest foods don't shout at you. An apple doesn't scream natural. A head of broccoli doesn't wear a label saying low-fat. Real food doesn't need a hype team. It just is. So what can you do moving forward? 1. Flip every package, every time. The front is marketing, the back is facts. Read the serving size, check sugar grams, scan for artificial stuff. 2. Keep a sugar cap in mind. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women, 36 for men. That's not much. And some healthy yogurts or juices blow past that in a single serving. 3. Simplify. The fewer ingredients, the better. Bonus points if you could technically buy each ingredient yourself. 4. Don't trust the trend. Gluten-free, keto, vegan, organic, they can all still be junk. You need to ask, is this food nutrient-dense or just buzzword-rich? And here's one more strategy. They don't talk about this enough. 5. Shop the perimeter of the store. That's where the fresh produce, eggs, meat, fish, and dairy live. The center aisles are where the processed traps hide out. Stick to the edges, build your meals from whole items, and you'll naturally avoid 90% of the fakes. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. You don't have to swear off every packaged food forever. You just need to spot the worst offenders and protect yourself from the long game of slow, silent sabotage. Because here's what they don't print on the label. That light, low-fat, immune-boosting snack you've been eating every day. It might be quietly fueling inflammation, spiking your blood sugar, making you hungrier later. It's death by 1,000 bites. But now, you see it, and that makes you dangerous to the companies profiting off your confusion. So if this opened your eyes, don't stop here. Subscribe to Undercover Spoon. Every week we're peeling back the curtain on food, brands, and systems that feed us half-truths. You deserve the full story. Next episode, we're going deep into restaurant traps, the foods you order thinking they're healthy, but might be worse than fast food. Think grilled chicken salads with more sugar than a Snickers, vegan bowls fried in seed oils, and how restaurants inflate calories without you even tasting it. That one? You don't want to miss. So flip those labels, question the claims, and keep your spoon sharp. You're not just eating, you're investigating, and the truth tastes better.